There's a moment early in Wanda where the main character, played by Barbara Loden, just stands in an empty field, letting the world pass her by. That image, quiet, almost barren, says everything you need to know about this film. Released in 1970, Wanda is one of the most quietly devastating movies I've ever seen. It's one of my favorites, not because it makes me feel good, but because it makes me feel something real. Barbara Loden didn't just star in Wanda, she also wrote and directed it, and yet this was the only film she ever made. That fact alone adds a layer of tragedy to a film that's already soaked in loneliness and neglect. Wanda follows a woman drifting through life in rural Pennsylvania. She's just divorced, she's given up her children without much of a fight, and she's got nowhere to go. There's no grand plan, no dramatic transformation, just a slow slide into whatever comes next. She falls in with a small-time criminal and becomes his reluctant accomplice, not out of love or even a thrill, but simply because he's there, and she has nowhere else to be. What struck me most watching Wanda is how much of her life is dictated by silence and resignation. Wanda isn't empowered. She's not plucky. She doesn't pull herself up. She just moves through life like a ghost. And yet, there's a kind of quiet beauty in her. She's still an attractive woman, and she knows it. You can tell she's relied on her looks to get by for most of her life. But those looks are starting to fade, just slightly, and you sense she's realizing that whatever value the world once saw in her is beginning to slip away. The subtle truth that society gives women a narrow window of visibility and then forgets them is what makes Wanda so painful to watch. She's not a femme fatale. She's not a tragic heroine. She's just forgotten. And Loden doesn't ask us to pity her. She just asks us to see her. There's a scene early in the film, not long after Wanda has left her husband and signed away her kids, where she visits a shopping mall. She looks longingly at the outfits on the mannequins, not with envy exactly, but with this quiet, hollow kind of yearning. It's like she's seen a version of femininity, or maybe even adulthood, that she's never really had access to. It's just a store display. There are no words in this scene, no music, but it's heartbreaking. You get the sense she's never owned anything that made her feel elegant or beautiful in the way women are told they should be. She's been surviving, not living. That scene tells you everything about her status, her desire, and her disconnection from the world of people who have things. It's a moment of both resignation and unreachable hope. And in another scene that comes a little later, after she spent the night with a man who picked her up, they stop at a fast food stand. She gets out of the car, and without warning, he drives off and leaves her there. There's no goodbye and no explanation. She just stands alone in the parking lot, stunned. You can see the weight of it on her face, like even this fleeting transactional encounter wasn't worth finishing properly. She's not just unwanted, she's invisible. Both of these scenes are so quiet, so restrained, but they hit hard. They show us a woman who isn't angry, who doesn't fight, who's just slowly absorbing the message the world keeps sending her. You don't matter. And that, to me, is the real tragedy of Wanda. Not that she makes bad choices, but that no one ever taught her she had any good ones. Stylistically, the film is rough and grainy, shot in 16mm with a near documentary feel. It's not interested in polish. It wants to feel real. And it does. The scenes are slow, sometimes painfully so, but that slowness makes you sit with Wanda's aimlessness. You feel the weight of her boredom, her confusion, her numbness. And what makes this film so remarkable, it dares to be about nothing in a way that feels like everything. Barbara Loden made a film that goes completely against the grain of what we expect from stories about women. There's no moral, no lesson, just a woman fading into the background, trying barely to survive. It's incredible that this film was made at all, especially in 1970. It won Best Foreign Film at the Venice Film Festival, yet it was almost completely ignored in the US for decades. Only recently has it begun to receive the recognition it deserves, not just as a feminist landmark, but as a masterpiece of American independent film. If you haven't seen Wanda, I urge you to watch it. It's not an easy film. It won't comfort you, but it will stay with you, and for me, that's the mark of something truly special.